Good afternoon. Thanks a lot to the organizers from the conference for the invitation. I'm going to present to you the principal work that we have been doing in the development of one infrastructure in Latin America. First of all, my page. Okay, this is the outline of the presentation, and this is the principal lines for the work that we have been doing. First of all, we have building one infrastructure, and we are giving support to virtual research communities, training, new service incorporation, and sustainability. In the aspect of the work, like the presenter said before, we were working in different kind of projects during several years, and we were working first in the development of one grid infrastructure in Latin America. After we were working in distributed computing infrastructures, especially thanks to chain rails, and now, or even with the support of projects from ALICE and a regional project called ROGLA. Okay, about the infrastructure, we have the next. First of all, we were working in the building of one infrastructure that have production quality. This has been too much difficult because there are different kind of skills in the region, and not other the groups of research are in good condition for doing that. And the other, and I think a good scheme for the work was the three-layer projects that was defined in all the projects that we were participating, and they make to us the possibility of build one stable infrastructure now. The principal resource centers that we are now maintaining, and that have support to the BO for the region, that is the prod.bo.eu, ILA.eu, was created during one of these projects, the ILA project. Now we are using this in one project called SCALAC, that is in the way that we are following for sustain the infrastructure. In this project, the principal resource centers are that they are putting here. But one principal aspect of this is that we have not all the resource centers that in the old projects were built, because one principal problems in the region is the problem of sustainability. Then when we lost the support, we lost resource centers. And I think that this is one important point that we need to attend, because there are not not identified as good way for solve this problem. And the other question is that we can include new resource centers and maybe the development of the middleware can help to us in the way that we can use now in different ways the resource centers. For example, using for HPC and using for grid process. Then this is an important step that now we can use. This is the central regional operation center that has been used for support of the Latin America infrastructure. And here one important mention have to be to the ROCLA, because they are one resource operation center that were created with the groups of high energy physics in the past, and they are now doing support to different kinds of communities in Latin America. Then this is an important results, and the support to the communities are made with one team of people that attend all the requirements that are not for the HPC field. Okay, and in distributed computed infrastructure, we are going into the implementation of different kinds of technological solutions. Then we are including now in the infrastructure grid computing, HPC computing, and for the cloud computing, we have only some resource centers that are now in test bed way. Okay. In the field of HPC, it is important because there are different universities in Latin America that are interested in participate in this infrastructure. Here there are the principal centers that are interested in support the SCALAC project, and we are looking for one implementation of the services that give to us solution for the sustainability problem. Then these resource centers or this HPC infrastructure are supported by the universities, and then we are looking for the compromise of the universities for put part of the infrastructure inside of this project. Here there are some slides that are showing the Science Gateway implemented for the access for these services. Here is now the sites that have information for the SCALAC project too. And here we have a different kind of implementation that we get for one public area and one private area. This is important for the good use of the infrastructure. The other is the aspect that I was speaking before, because we can get access for grid infrastructure and for HPC infrastructure in the same science gateway. Then we have the two kinds of our organization inside the science gateway, and they can get the implementation this. And one more that it is much important is the possibility of implementation of different kinds of science gateway in the region. Here is the example for one science gateway that is used for the collaboration between the three principal universities in Mexico. Then I think that this is a good example of the facilities of Science Gateway for promote the collaboration between research in the region. And finally, the future work that we have here is the problem of formalization of the SCALAC project. How I said before, when the support for the projects was end, then we need to find one way of support for this project, and this is the principal problem that in this moment we are trying to solve. I think that in the way of not take more time, only I give thanks to you.
Thank you very much, Jesus, for this status report on on SCALAC and the Latin American e-infrastructures and the way to access it. The floor is open for questions or comments. Yes.
Thank you, but it's a very simple question. You were pointing out the question of sustainability. Could you be more precise, highlighting the type of budgets and split in the budget you're thinking of?
Yes.
Chain Reds has been going on for some time now, and Chain did 2 projects, and now you have to look and plan for 5 years or 10 years ahead. So what kinds, just taking Mexico, what kind of budgets are you talking about?
Yes, and here we have a good example of the form that we can solve the problem, because the roadmap that was implemented for high energy physics researchers in Latin America is localized in 3 different countries. Then the support for the team and the infrastructure are making for each university in this case. Then we are trying to follow the same scheme for the implementation of this infrastructure for all the region. Then we need a compromise between the institution for support all of this project. And I think that in this time it is important to get some kind of compromise for be in the play of scientific work. Then this is the principal idea that we are following for this kind of support. The universities support people and infrastructure, and then the governments with financial support in the region give the rest. This is the principal idea.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, oh, yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It's a good example of collaboration, cooperation, and I think it's not easy to arrive at this stage of work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, if not, let's thank again the speaker.
Thank you.
And let's move on with the program.